Hi all, this is Ellie Shore. Welcome back to Art Salon. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce a couple who've come up from Hollywood to share a fascinating career with you. Pip and Duane Brant are husband and wife, and both artists practice in Hollywood and in Miami, and they are both teaching at Florida International University. Duane also teaches at Barry University. They are both very active and involved in the South Florida art scene, and you'll be able to see their work in many exhibitions and locations throughout the region. They work individually and also collaboratively. Tonight they're going to talk a little bit more about their collaborative efforts. And now, Pip and Duane Brant.
Okay, we met in Montana, and then we moved to Wyoming.
We moved here in 1999, just in time for Y2K, and so from Wyoming on our little ranch and all secure and safe out there, and we're going, oh my gosh, we're going to the city.
Yeah. I never thought I would be able to live in a city ever in a million years, because I was raised on Indian reservations in Montana and North Dakota, and I was born in South Dakota on the Pine Ridge Reservation. And I didn't think, well, I still can't really drive. So it's just too much input, so he's my chauffeur. So that part, I am glad I live in an urban area, though. The people are way more fun. There's way more opportunities. And although I do miss doing land art in vast, empty spaces. But we play in community bands. I play bass clarinet. I'm trying to learn euphonium, and he plays tuba. Cool. And these are concert bands. They're not rock bands. They're not folk bands. All right, this is our house we built, and this was 10 acres, and we had a goat farm. Later on, that barn turned into a really nice studio with jewelry, printmaking, ceramics, and painting rooms. It was really nice. I was so spoiled.
Totally built everything.
Yeah.
There was nothing there, it was just flat.
Obviously, there's nothing to do but make art.
Yeah. And we made an earth bank house. Really amazing. The house right across the street, we can't see it, but he would burn 10 cords of wood a year, and we burn one. Just going totally different. And
That's it later on. We put on a fancy greenhouse.
On it.
So we built it, obviously. But that kind of prepares you for making a lot of different, art that has to do something to do with construction. This is one of my pieces on a tablecloth, and it's about Environmental Liberation Front. And I got a consortium for this series of work where I dyed tablecloths and embroidered on them, and they have like news reports on them. There's stuff from the news. This was a piece about burning Humvees that this kind of environmental terrorist group would go into car dealerships and burn Humvees. I actually really approve. I'm so glad not to see too many Humvees around anymore. So that's a detail. This part here is embroidered. Oh, the other thing is Duane's. Yeah, you can go real fast. Oh, you got control over it?
Yeah.
That's wrong.
So this was my work from grad school, and I did it for quite a few years. And these are just all from work, and I stood them up. They're life size, some 8 feet, 9 feet tall. So really fun series. And I thought of them the same way I thought of making cups when I was a potter. I'm making more than one. They're all little vessels, and they're
All right, this is one of our art group things, and Wyoming audience is just freaked out by anything. So we did this during a halftime of a play in the theater, and Duane was pretending to be a dead Marat, and
the tableau, Yvonne.
Yeah, and little kids would come up like, is he dead? So we actually had to design projects that really were sensitive to how much the audience could take, which is hardly anything. This one they couldn't take. We drew nude. Yeah. So our law student nude model there, and then one of the members is over there. Fortunately, I'm not in this picture. This is a still from a video. So you can tell them what this is.
And this is manure. We began casting in horse manure and making comments on the political state of affairs. And
That's
just
our,
going, and my whole goal at the
that's
time
Saint Reagan.
was to cast off all the senators and in horse manure. And I figured one part or the other would really like that and hire us, but well, we'd have to advertise more.
One of these burnt in a house fire, so it became a punk. So there's only one left. This is Fashion Sins. This caused a whole shutdown in Laramie. It was where we went to school in the University of Wyoming. This is another collaborator. We had a room. This is when the Crying Game came out, and this is like the start. This is like 91 or 92. Now this is old hat, you know, gender issues like.
The whole premise was.
How much man is in each person?
So
how much woman is in each
I
person?
took all my clothes off and I put hers on and she put mine on. So.
But we had try-on rooms where you could go try on football pads, like if you're a girl or a woman, and then you could go try on other things like women's clothes if you're a man. Well, we didn't think much of this, but the police came in and shut us down in Laramie. We showed it in Rochester, New York, and they didn't give a crap. So it was like, it's not even on the Richter scale of edgy. So that was an experience. This is one of my favorite pieces. This is back alley vasectomy kit. It had a piece of willow, which is aspirin, and then a flint from the Flint Mountains in Ohio that Duane's geology dad provided. Then a little how-to instructions on how to give yourself a vasectomy. And
the ants were actually the classic way they used to make.
In Africa, we read that they used ants to suture a wound. They'd have the ant head bite the wound and then break the head off. So we just had plastic ants.
But we thought it was hilarious.
This is going to be a hot topic again if they Planned Parenthood is. And this is our horse. So we started riding on this horse, and we had I Heart Hillary, so that was prophetic. I couldn't find the image of that, but this is one of Shadow. We rode on her with cattle markers, and then.
And she was on next to the highway.
Right
so
by the
like
highway.
A walking billboard.
Yeah.
So people would see it.
We're always trying to look for like new kind of media. There's a really stupid pun. So I don't think you probably kind of see that there's a little bit of humor in our work. So this is the big project that came out of the horse. So we got a grant for this, big 4K, and it got in Dave Barry, the new everywhere, and it was a huge thing. And the town ladies would see me in the cafe and say I was wasting government money. I have nothing better to do with my time than do this. And it took 15 years of herding cattle for this rancher to let us do this. This is kind of not an easy thing to get a rancher to let you mess with his cows.
Yeah. Basically, the whole premise of the piece was we took that notion of what the land used to be, big, huge cattle ranches. We didn't go that farther than that. And so we took a phrase from a woman that lived there, an artist that lived there back then, and she wrote about it.
Like Cattle King days, fencing times.
And then, we would look at those words when they went out in the field, the same phrase, and when the cows mixed it up, what it would become. And we were saying that's the same analogy that you have here with what happens when you all of a sudden put lots out in the middle of this wonderful.
Yeah, Wyoming's one of the biggest subdivision, they're breaking it up. And they just say welcome, mining companies, here, let us rape you. That one on this side said brush my thing. We can't read. This is the ranch in the project where we did the ranch. There were several trucks there from NBC, ABC, CNN, and we got to really experience worldwide attention and and to also see how much your project gets out of control when the media gets a hold of it. It just went wild. The original edit that CNN did was pretty good, but when they got back to the station, they recrafted it in, I mean, this is a time when NEA was going to get knocked out by Gingrich. So it was a time where art was just this huge waste of money, and everybody knows it was like hardly anything. I don't know, a billionth of a cent from each person. I mean,
a subdivision guy built his house out on a little island in the river, and he got the government to give him $40,000 to put riprap around his house. And they didn't say a word about that $40,000, but they got furious about us getting, most of that.
But they also changed the story to where we got 140,000. I like that sum better. That would be nice. So we were even in Harper's, which is probably that's the pinnacle, I guess. That's our 15 minutes of fame. So then we did this other project called Screwed Earth. The screws started out with Duane's ceramic, or his high school class. He gave them little screws to make big screws. So they were going to copy this little thing. And
so you're enlarging something.
And they thought it was funny because you were making screws, and so the double entendre of a screw. So we had all these cool screws laying around.
Because they didn't want them. So they're sitting around my classroom, dozens of these things. And so we took them to damaged environmental sites, and that notion of we're going to heal, or we're going to acupuncture the earth and help it.
This is in Bend, Bend, Oregon. We screwed Wyoming and Oregon. A nice environmental art group gave us $200 to screw Oregon. This is tragic.
A clear cut, they cut it 90 years before, and that's how old those little.
They're actually it's 20, but that took 20 years to get a tree that big. That's never coming back.
90 years that's how long it took the tree to become.
Right, but they figure they're never going to come back. That's this mosquito light. This is it's by Jackson Hole, south of Jackson Hole in the Rocky Mountains. It's very touchy environment. This is not like Oregon where the trees will grow real fast, and certainly not like here. But this should never have been clear cut. This is just not something you should mess with. So we moved here in '99, and we won this prize for lawn folly at the Fort Lauderdale Art Museum, and we made this together. It's called Hose Hairdo. It's about 10 feet high. And those are garden hoses. So it later, the frame, we use the frame for a lot of things. At one point we grew vines on it, flowers.
I was at the book museum. I remember that.
Yeah, that was there. So that got recycled. The best part is the shadow.
Great piece.
But he welded that sucker and engineered it. And so that was done, let's see, 2007, and it's called Blood Veil. And it's about all the veil issues. You can't tell. I mean, that's what my intention was. But when you went inside it, it looks like you're in some sort of firmament. The geometry of the doilies, which hardly anybody knows what they are anymore, is pretty amazing. It's like looking at a celestial sacred design. And they are math. I don't know if anybody here does make doilies. I've tried to make them. I didn't make these. I found them. I think there's a couple I made, but they're sad. I just hooked them together, and it was a major effort of shopping to find these, because you'd ask for them, and they go, "What? What's that?" And so I had a lot of people out there hunting for them for me, so that was nice.
A lighting piece. When you lit it, also you have this total amazing.
I think it's going to be here this summer, or no, April, because Lisa Rockford wants it, and I think we're going to wrap it around some hedges.
Awesome.
I put it on the ground, and it looks pretty nice that way too. It just sort of makes anything change its intent. And I've even taken it to Dominican Republic and sat underneath it and played a horn underneath it. That was really crazy. So, but.
What were you thinking about when you made it?
I was thinking about the issues of the veil, like the fake hymen that it is. It's feminist. I don't get why hair is such a big deal, where you have to wear a wig or a scarf or a tent over you so men can keep control of themselves. I was thinking of that. I mean, men can't control themselves if they see hair. Get it. Like, get your shit together, men. You know. You've got hair too, or maybe you had some. But that, it sort of backfired because it's pretty and it turned into this geometry that's like you're looking up in a heaven or something. So that my ideas are sometimes evil, but there's something in me that likes to make something pretty. So I like pretty things. So yeah, this woman, Allison Knowles. Does anybody know her? She's a super famous Fluxus person. She was married to Dick Higgins at one point. And I love her. Fluxus is just sort of this, like, you don't even know it's art. It's just sort of generous tomfoolery that happens. And I worked with her on this piece, and actually Duane helped too because he had to haul his sewing machines and everything. And we sewed a bunch of clothes together and made a shoreline, like instead of a clothesline, a closed shoreline. So it's just a bit of a little gentle pun.
So you're at the beach?
Yeah.
It's Miami Beach.
She's amazing. One of her debuts, like Fluxus didn't really hit it off in America that well, but when they went to Germany, it did. And then finally, people came around to it when it came here. But there's part of the shoreline.
They got longer and longer.
Yeah.
Kept pulling it out.
Right. This is a piece that was done in the 70s by Valley Export, an Austrian woman, and she charged 5 marks for people to reach into that box and feel her boobs up. So that was the start of that. So this is Petorama 1. I charged $1, but you maybe thought you were feeling boobs in there, but I had little chickens in there. And the little chickens feel like boobs. This is the second version. And we made a better box.
Live chickens?
Yes.
Yeah.
The live chickens get me in trouble. I am living in Hollywood. Please don't call the city up again. I can't live without chickens. That's just all there is to it, and they just need to they need to realize it. But there, you reach into those things there. I need to hire somebody young and cute so I can earn more money doing this. But that's, and obviously Duane built that box, and I painted it. So we got revenge on Duane later on being objectified. So this is called the flying carpet, right? We really had to work together on this. It's the map of Iraq. It's got embroidery. It's sort of 3D-ish a little bit, and there's a motor that shakes when you step on the pedals. Kind of like a vibrating bed in the old days when you put a quarter in and it vibrated and made you itchy. But this sort of shakes around. There's bells, like camel bells. It shakes around and actually walks around the room. You have to kind of shove it back into place. So it's kind of about the Iraq War, whatever you want to call it.
It's viewer activated. You can step on one gas pedal and the light will go on. The second gas pedal it would shake. And the third gas pedal had a little light pointing down, the target light pointing down. You know, that notion of what are we doing wrong today?
This is Work Simulation Unit. We got this sign when we lived in London, and
we thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I think every workplace needs to have this on their door. Simulate work, especially over in the sculpture. No.
And so it would shake, motion detector, it would shake like a hurricane, and that notion of we build houses now, we put them in a
those are little
tunnel, see if they
crocheted.
blow away.
Those are little crocheted puppet marionette palm trees. So in case you can't tell what they are.
Yeah. And so they were puppets, and then you just put them on there and take them off and walk them around,
Right.
or they would shake.
This is a big deal. I mean, this is a storage issue. You might have seen this at Boca Museum.
Yes.
All right. This is
And so this is interactive.
great.
I actually play, in the things we do now, I play this really big one right now. And
Yeah,
so
we're kind of recycling this piece
the
again.
music we make with it is music, but I'm playing the sewing machine.
I don't know if it's music,
With the two,
but
it's
kind of
the joy of it.
random stuff, yeah.
Nice.
We went to the DR, and this is a simple thing. It's fun to go travel with no art supplies and figure out what you're going to do there.
See the red dots all the way around?
Yeah, the red dots all around with this sundial. Those are made of bougainvillea blooms, so obviously that's how I made them. So we went to the market and bought hula hoop. There was plenty of plastic to buy in the market. It's crazy. And Edge Zones, Chara Oquette invites people. She invites you to propose something. I don't even find. I did some bush voodoo dolls, and that was my proposal. But when we got, they were really easy to carry, because that's a hard thing. But once you get there, you can get some ideas. So to work with this structure. I got Andra Zittel here because I really like her work, where she works with the land and kind of makes living and art go to they fuse together.
Shrinking architecture down and making all architecture very functional.
So we kind of did that for the chickens. Duane built this out of all scrap material, old ladders, things left over. I don't think he bought anything. So this is a chicken wagon.
It's a tractor, so you move it around and mow your lawn. The chickens are- So we did get down to the bottom.
Then we did Shopping Bunny, and there's our beehive. So Shopping Bunny, we made rabbit cages with shopping carts. And for a quick getaway when the city gets mad at us. You can have bees. The bee lobby has really figured that one out. So we do honey too. The pollen that's gathered in a regular suburban area is really tasty. It's not a monoculture. Sometimes it tastes more like palm trees, but it's got a lot of different blooms in it. So it's just over the top good.
And they say why it's really healthy for you is that all the local pollen around you, if you have a local bee, is in the honey, and so it really helps your immune system. And when you know a beekeeper like us, you know that we never eat our honey. So
Yeah, we're too lazy for
yeah.
that.
Well, no, you ruin honey.
Yeah, you ruin it, that's right.
All the other honey, no matter where you buy it, they heat it up a little bit to run it through this filter to get the pollen out. And so I'm just going to get rid of all the good stuff.
This is revenge, this is grab ass. So we made these pants that he wears, and you reach down in the pocket, and there's little baby bunnies in there. So that feels squirrely. When you don't know what you're touching, it's pretty bizarre. So.
Yeah, it was hard to get people to grab old guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he had the same issue I did.
Takers.
No. Practically had to pay them. We weren't earning any money. Some cute boy there, finally. Okay, this kind of pertains to the honey. We had a performance at the Performance Festival where we had this tent, and it was like a medicine show. We gave away honey and a whole bunch of our yard projects and food, herbs, plants, bonsai. So we just gave away almost a year's worth of garden produce, and then had there wasn't outrageous claims of being cured, because I found all these claims on the internet. What rosemary can do is amazing. Supposedly up your IQ about 75%. I should have some right now. So you can see the wig thing is back again, the frame. I stored it at North Campus.
But the bottom line for us really was, we really go to big corporations to make all the stuff you have in your yard, pack it into a pill form instead of knowing what you're doing like grandma used to do and make a tea out of it. And so we were just trying to bring some of that knowledge back and be able to talk about it. So when people came up, that was part of what we were sharing.
There are some victims. I hope somebody got our aloe plant. Okay, this was one of our strangest things that we did together last year. So we were inside there with musical instruments making noises, and then every once in a while a coconut with a phrase, like a scientific finding, came out and would poop out of it and kind of roll out. And,
Kind of like a mountain, you know, where the volcano was.
yeah, and we made these really ugly puppets that you can turn it. There's some nice. I love this puppet though. It's made out of old glove, and I actually based these on the puppets that Paul Klee made for his son. Have you ever seen those? Those are the device. I wish I would have been his kid. He had the strangest puppets he made for his kids. So these are rabbit hides that we grew. Egg carton head. The next thing has to do with bodily fluids. So you all know this piece, and that comes back to the shitheads. You can turn it again. And bunny poo. Bunny poo is we make bricks out of the rabbit shit, and that's our failed fantasy business plan. We have all these business plan things that we're going to make money at selling. You can ask me about all of them.
On the internet, you'll sell it.
Yeah, that's not happening. Nobody's buying any of our crap. So,
No, but then on if you sell these, they would be in little animals or something, and you'd put next to the plant you want to fertilize.
yeah,
And
just
it would rain and fertilize it, and
they're nice. It's a nice idea. Yeah.
so it was way fun. Or you drop it into water and you make the nice tea when you're.
I think I'm gonna have a fake store next time. We're like all our failed business plans. So this is us playing in our new band. Although there's going to be a couple more people now. We recruited some people. So this is a piece I've done. This is a really nice painting I saw that Joseph Boyce did with rabbit blood. And there's another one. And there's more blood. This Mark Quinn, he froze his,
Frozen.
this is a famous piece. But mine's not so famous. But yeah, this was at the Mocha Taz show. This is silkscreen rabbit blood. This is a kitten. Let's see what else you got. Girls and donkey, keep going. This one's like a double run. There's a girl looking out. Okay, this is ceramics. We don't even stick to one medium, as you probably noticed. This is a mural. There's going to be another one like this, and this is what we worked on this summer together. So right there's a greenware one. So like this is Painter doing
So basically,
clay.
they're restuccoing the house. I said, let's fill the arch in with.
Yeah, all those are our plants. I started another one that was more geometric, and then I got sucked into the plants because I look at plants every day. So he's the technician. When he fires them wrong, I get pretty mad. But yeah, I think that's the last. That's him installing. So.